Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about Corki and specifically really coming back in games and kind of how to play ADC from behind, especially. So kind of just getting into this game, you're going to see the early game goes really poorly, and I'm kind of going to talk about how you want to approach a game once you do fall behind, once things go wrong. Maybe you don't play the best early game or your team doesn't play the best early game, but there's still definitely a lot you can do. And so this was from our first day of games. We played for about 12 hours and we went from gold 4 to emerald 3, I think 4 marks. So we gained quite a bit of elo on this account. Again, doing obviously every role to sovereign on the same season on 5 different accounts. So initially early game we are into a Lucian who is quite a strong early game champion. And so we're not trying to trade super heavily, but we do have the range advantage with a Nami. So if they end up, overextending and we can take advantage of our range, we do want to get poke on them. Typically in lane phase, what you're looking for is what your advantage is as a lane. So oftentimes you're going to either have the advantage in terms of all-ins or the advantage in terms of poke. And if you have the advantage in terms of neither, then you're probably in a very losing matchup. So in this case, we have better poke than them. I have more range on my first ability. I have, decent autos, and Nami has obviously a lot more auto range than Leona. So overall, we have better poke. And Nami has healing, which means she can heal me up if I do get poked, which is why overall we have better poke. So for that reason, we're trying to make sure we maintain control of the wave. We have the wave pushing so that the enemy can't take advantage of any type of all-in because they're not going to be higher level than us. The bot lane that wants to look for all-ins, which basically means, finding one big trade and trying to fully kill you off of a trade, they really want to be high level in order to win their trades. Because if they're able to get a level advantage on you, they have much better stats, which is really good in terms of getting that one, big trade. Whereas champions like Nami or other poke champion Karma and lane, this type of stuff, they're more just about controlling the wave to deny that from the enemy, and then just slowly whittling down your enemy until you can eventually create, ideally, an all-in angle when they're a lot lower, but you're looking for that a lot later after you poke them out a lot more consistently. And so in this case, I believe they try to recall, and I do kind of get baited a little by the Leona, but it's not the end of the world. We do blow Leona flash for Nami flash. That's honestly better for them because Leona has Hex flash, and because Nami is obviously a lot easier to kill than Leona. So overall, they do prefer that compared to us. Just blowing the flashes like that is just typically better for these types of champions. So that is typically something like you'll see where a lot of times the all-in lane, they'll go for like one big trade and then they blow your flash or your cleanse or whatever, and then they'll go for one more big trade, and that's kind of oftentimes the cycle they'll follow. Whereas again, the Nami Corki, you got to make sure you're not making any mistakes because you're constantly poking out, having to get a bunch of short trades, and because of that, we do end up having the advantage for a long period of that lane, but then kind of the very end goes towards their favor, and we do end up in a not as good of a position. And then, of course, our map is kind of falling apart. You're going to see it continue to fall apart throughout this game, and it definitely doesn't get too much better for a while. But yeah, again, Nami ends up kind of getting caught out there, and you can see the fact that she lost her flash meant that she's all-inable, right? Where she was able to die there, I have to end up cleansing. And then in this situation, they definitely can possibly dive me, but for me, now that I got her third ability out, I wanted to try to outplay it, and we do end up getting one kill, but we die. And so again, basically you saw they took advantage of the fact that Nami did lose her flash earlier, and then when Nami overextends and goes too far for that ward in the bush there, she ends up getting caught out, and because she has no flash, she's able to get one shot by the Lucian Leona because they have very high burst damage. So that's kind of, again, that's why they were able to win this lane, and then obviously they dive us after. And it's quite hard because Leona and Lucian can dive really well, especially if, obviously one of you are dead. And so we have a very big disadvantage in this lane. We're down about 600 gold as the ADC. And then the enemy are doing really well on the rest of the map. And so already we see kind of, this disadvantage starting. Game not going the best here. I'm just trying to continue to poke them out. But the mid laner now does rotate as well, which means we lose our flash and then Nami gets caught. And so you can see here, kind of everything is falling apart. At this point, our jungle is getting caught. they're now putting ourselves in a position to get dove, and so we're trying to poke them out, but we end up getting caught out now. I lost my flash earlier, which makes it even easier to get caught. I lost my cleanse, you know, so basically the game is falling apart. The reason, again, that it happened in duo lane was because they did a good job of making one trade where they were able to catch us out to blow a flash of Nami, and then eventually find that all-in angle, and then just kind of snowball from there. And the rest of the map, obviously, sometimes the rest of your map's going to fall apart. Of course, there's no control you can have over that. But so now talking about what we need to do, given the fact that this has happened. So given the fact that we're down this much gold, we know there's a very low chance. I mean, we're already down 3k gold and we're only 5 minutes into the game. We know there's a very low chance of winning. We know we may get ganked, we may get dove. We can't really control too much now. So the main thing we need to understand is the niche win conditions that we do have, given the fact that we're behind a lot. In this case, that's definitely going to be the scaling of a champion like Corki. Corki is a way better scaler compared to Lucian, for example. And so anytime that the enemy give me an opportunity to get additional gold, I'm definitely going to play for that. In this case, Lucian actually does get caught out here. So that was nice to take advantage of the fact that he kind of overextended. But that's not really our main purpose. Like, killing that Lucian, it's nice. It alleviates some pressure. But that's not why we're going to, like, you know, have a chance to come back. What we're really doing to try to come back in this game at this point is just going to be looking for gold on whatever parts of the map we can find it. And so even here, we end up getting caught again. They're ahead a lot. It's really hard. But the main thing that we're looking for is, can I trade some amount of gold on one part of the map for something on the other part of the map? Because at this point, you know, gold bounties will soon come up if we keep falling behind like this. And again, the longer we just trade evenly in terms of gold, the better it is for us. So even if the enemy, they get, you know, our top turret, or they get a dragon, or they get, you know, whatever, as long as we're able to get something out of the deal, when we can, we're going to be fine with that. So in this case, again, it's pretty early game, but this is especially going to be true, you know, a couple minutes from now, once some of the turrets are already broken open, stuff like that. Here, we're just going to back for our item, you know, pretty simple. And it looks like here, this is actually what I'm talking about. So I forgot about this situation. Basically, what happened is the Lucian ends up rotating and going to Herald, even though they're already winning, which gives me an opportunity to take a turret for free. And so this is kind of what I was talking about, actually, where in this situation, now I'm able to get an advantage somewhere. Like, yes, we lose the Herald. Yes, my teammates die. It's not good. But what it does mean is we are getting an advantage somewhere. I'm getting a bunch of gold for myself. I'm getting this entire wave. Meanwhile, Lucian is sharing the gold and the Herald and everything with the rest of his team there at that fight. And so this is kind of the mistake that they made, is they gave us an avenue into the game. Still very, very hard to win. But as the ADC now, I'm starting to get into that cycle where I can farm up a bunch of gold. I can get as much gold as possible on myself and then look to hit those item spikes. And so I'm going for the Essence Reaver plus Magnetic Blaster. And then now you see I go mid because that top turret's already dead. So now I'm looking for gold on other parts of the map. So once then I'm going to go bot lane after. It looks like I did almost get caught by the Lucian there. But again, all I'm doing is just looking for as much gold as possible. Whatever lanes I can find it in, that's really what we're going to be doing. And at this point, I'm literally just like, I'm not concerned with fighting. All I'm concerned with is how much gold can I get and how many different dragons or objectives or turrets can I use as a distraction to get myself a little bit stronger. And I'm taking the gold from Syndra, for example, here, because I know I'm one of the stronger champions gold-wise, and I know I'm going to scale well enough that I could possibly carry if the enemy overextended. Here, you know, they go in. Obviously, I'm going to try to trade what I can. I cleanse. I don't think I needed to cleanse. But even like them overextending in mid here gives us an opportunity to get that, to potentially look for like the bot lane turret, which my team got, for example. So they're just kind of, they're kind of over grouping. They're overplaying around like one lane. So we're kind of able to get some advantages that way. And then the enemy do kind of overextend here. So we're able to at least blow some cooldowns. And the Orianna does get caught as well. I'm able to get that kill. And then now we go top side. We get that top wave. We farmed a camp. And now we're hitting our second item. So then here, second dragon is spawning in about a minute. And I don't really want to go there and fight against the legendary Rengar who's going to one-shot me. I am more so worried about, again, just getting whatever gold I can, and then probably moving to another part of the map where I can get even more gold. So after I get mid, for example, I went and I take the bot gold as well. And here I'm hitting Mundo, and then I'm like, yeah, that guy is not going to die. So we end up just, again, getting more gold on ourselves. All we're doing is just constantly looking for this one win condition. Like, this is a lot of ADC. When you fall behind on a scaling ADC, and your team is doing really bad, this is your only concern. You're not going to just magically start winning fights for no reason. So you need to be looking for as much gold as you possibly can find on other parts of the map, as you see us doing here. So again, dragons up, I don't care. I'm going to farm my teammates' jungle camps. I'm going to farm the bottom side of the map. Again, you saw me in mid earlier, right? I'm just creating gold on whatever part of the map I can. I'm looking up for bot gold. Now I see mid looks, gettable, so I'm skipping through the replay, by the way. Obviously, you guys don't need to watch me walk as much as watching Corki walk is nice, right? But anyways, we get the mid wave. Now we're getting the red buff. Now we get the bot wave. We're just getting everything that we can possibly get. And even though now my team is down 8,000 gold, my gold, I'm going to go back to the scoreboard here to show you guys, but my gold is almost 10k, which if we compare it to the enemy, I have the second most gold in the game here. So like, no matter who goes on me, unless it's the Rengar, but Rengar honestly built pretty poorly this game, which meant he couldn't one-shot me as hard. Almost anyone in the game, I'm stronger than. So if I do get a nice Nami ultimate that sets me up one time, I can burst someone down and I can carry the game. So like, again, we gave ourselves an avenue into the game. It might not be, the easiest. It's still going to be a hard game to play. We're 418 in terms of kills and my team's down a bunch of gold. But we have something, and that's honestly what you're looking for as ADC. You hit your power spikes, and you're always going to have a chance. And then let's say they overextend one time, like they do here. We get one nice little play on them. Now they're poked out, and this is just giving us that chance where now like we can maybe turn the game around just because I've farmed well enough to be really strong. And obviously Corki is also a broken champion on the patch right now. We'll probably make a more dedicated video on Corki at some point with how broken this champion is. But just because of that, now we're looking for some type of play on the enemy, trying to see, and boom, we end up getting that kill onto the Orianna. Again, you can see that damage, and that's because we were farming very effectively. We're able to get the second kill onto the Mundo there, and then we end up going on to the Rengar right after getting that triple kill. And again, it's just that one moment. This is literally what we were looking for the entire game, was just farming up, being patient, and waiting for this one specific moment where I'm stronger than most of the enemy, they overextend, and they give me the opportunity to get as much as I can out of it. So now we use the Baron to get the bottom lane turret, we reset, now I'm on 3 items. I'm insanely strong at this point. I'm pretty much the strongest champion in the game because I outskill Rengar. The only problem is Rengar could one-shot me because, he's a scary cat or whatever he is. I don't know. I think he's a cat. Maybe not. But anyways, that really doesn't matter. I don't know why that was something I got stuck up on. But yeah, now we're just using the Baron to push. Pretty straightforward. If the enemy go on us, we're going to look to poke them out. If they end up overextending like they do on the top side, then that's, happy with me. We'll just keep looking to poke the enemy out, which is what we do. Syndra blows them up there. And at this point, we're pretty much just able to end the game. So it was a really straightforward game. A lot of games on this patch do end a bit quicker, depending on, various factors. But because of that, we're literally able to end off this. And again, it was literally just patience until one moment where the enemy made a silly mistake. And again, this is Emerald. I mean, it's not super high, but Emerald players are probably Master Peak to Grandmaster Peak last season. Like, that's where they would reset to. So it's not like we're playing super low elo. And I had a diamond on my team, so, nothing crazy. But yeah, early season games like this, I mean, really just in general, you play patient, you play to come back. You can have good mental, and you're probably going to be able to come back in a lot of these types of games. We get the MVP there. Obviously, I didn't show you guys, the Corki 1v9. I showed you guys more of the game where we're just playing the farm, where we're literally 6 kills down and we end up winning, because this is kind of the harder type of game to win, where a lot of people would give up or get tilted or maybe not, put as much effort into it. But you can definitely squeeze a lot of wins out of these types of games as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're interested in getting coached by a rank 1 player like myself, DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through a link in the description to my Discord server below. Just $25 an hour for coaching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.